And welcome. So, just to quickly introduce myself, my name is Alyssa. I'm one of the cartooning and anime and digital art teachers here at Winged Canvas. And today's theme for the stream is anime fashion design. So, if you voted for the poll, thank you very much. Um, as we can see, if you haven't seen it yet, Levi from Attack on Titan has won, so we will start with him. But as just to explain the theme a little bit, so what is an anime fashion design? Well, we're doing a redesign, and a redesign is we're just gonna draw them in things that they don't usually wear. So I'm just reading the chat. Hello, hi. Yeah, and I have some examples, like you may have seen my thumbnail already. My thumbnail is of the Mia twins from Haikyuu. So this is my actual file that I drew them in. So I just wanted to do a like what would they look like as a sci-fi cyborgs? I don't know how else to say it. So I drew in, yeah, the twins. Here they are. So that's a fashion redesign because usually they would be wearing their jersey or volleyball outfit, right? And another redesign that I've done is Leon from Pokemon Sword and Shield because he looks like that if you ever look at his fashion, so I wanted to redesign him a little bit, and that's of his battle tower outfit. And yeah, so those are some examples. So let's get started. And of course, if you want to draw along with me, please get out your paper, tablet, and follow along. That would be great. So to get started, does anyone have any suggestions for what Levi should be wearing? Because if I'm completely honest, I'm a little stumped on what he should be wearing. But I will start with the basic body, the basic body, and then I will be drawing the clothing on top of him. So let me get started with a simple pose, and then you can let me know what kind of style of clothing that you would want, because if I am, again, completely honest, I was just talking to Jesse and saying the only thing I could picture for Levi is like Pinterest fall wear for guys. And I don't really think that's a good idea, so a jumper with a panda design. Like a kigurumi, that's what it's called. Hold on, let me tech wear. I already did that for the Mia twins. That was one of the keywords that I used to search up reference, techwear. If Levi was dressed up to go to a cat cafe. So let's see. So maybe I can draw him holding a cat. Let me see. Let me see the suggestion so far. Hi, M. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. We're doing anime fashion design if you want to draw along. Please do. That would be fun. Sorry if I'm like pausing. I'm just thinking, what kind of pose should he be in? You know what? It'll probably be a really good idea if I search up Levi's reference. And yeah, Haikyuu. If you want me to draw a Haikyuu character, feel free to request one. It's just that I feel bad for drawing them like without them being requested because I draw Haikyuu characters so many times already. Very opposite to his tendencies. True. Oh, and just so you guys know, for these characters, I might not draw them all in full body. So if you have like a specific suggestion, like, oh, can you draw so and so wearing a hat? Then maybe I'll just do their portrait. If it's not anything super specific. If it's Levi going to like a cat cafe, maybe I can draw him holding a cat. Oh, Jesse, I knew someone would suggest Catboy or maid outfit. Well, no one said maid outfit, so but cat cafe. Maybe you can wear like a cat headband. The cat should have the same expression as him. That's true. So here I'm focusing on drawing the body first, just for anyone who's just tuning in. And this is my first drawing of the day. So for anyone who is currently watching or reading Attack on Titan, who's your favorite character? I know Levi's really popular, so that's why he won. Anyway. If someone dragged him to the cat cafe, he'd be very unimpressed. Yes. But I'd like to think that he enjoys drawing. Sorry, not drawing, that he likes holding the cat or something, and the cat is kind of like just flopping there. That's what I'm imagining right now. Am I drawing Atsumu right now? No, unfortunately. I've drawn him already. I might draw him again if you want me to. So let me see. So here I'm just adding some sticks for his arms so he can be holding the cat. FYI, I am a dog person, so I know very little about cats and how to hold them, so I'm just gonna assume he can kind of hold it like a baby. And then there can be a little cat loaf here, but we'll see as we go. I'm gonna keep adjusting at this stage. Armin. Can I draw Sakusa? Sure. So M, what do you want him to be wearing since we're doing a fashion redesign? If you can let me know. Ooh, I'm suddenly getting a lot of dots in MediBang. Interesting. That's never happened before. My pen pressure may have just died a little bit, but I pretend I do not see it. It's fine. Sakusa in a maid outfit? So it's not Levi who's going in the maid outfit today. I guess. Maybe. We'll see. I'm kind of just trying to figure out what is the position of his hands. Where he is holding the cat. Here I can just use basic shapes, and then dots in MediBang. It might be lagging because she doesn't like the extra viewers on stream. Is MediBang shy? Valid. But it didn't happen 2 weeks ago, so this is a little weird. Anyway, I'm still just going to be focusing on simple shapes. Have I ever drawn Sakusa before? No, I haven't actually. So I want the arms kind of just drooping. Why does this sketch look better? No. Don't say that. This is the very, very messy stage. It's basically, I'm just focusing on constructing the body first, and then I can focus on the details. I know some people can just like jump into their drawing, but I can't do that. But I'm glad you guys like it, even though right now, the way that I see it, I'm kind of like, it's not Levi yet. And this is also part of my, you can say, warm-up for today. Because again, it's the first thing that I'm drawing today. But yeah, the only Haikyuu characters that I've drawn is I've drawn Oikawa, I've drawn Nishinoya, I've drawn Kenma, I've drawn Kuro, I've drawn Bokuto. I've drawn lots of Kuro and Bokuto because they're my two favorite characters. Who else? I've drawn Atsumu and Osamu, as you've probably just seen and in the thumbnail. This is the messy stage, and I continue to clean up the sketch. True, because I don't do line art for the streams. Because if I did line art, we're gonna be here all day, and that's not exactly a great thing. I have a great voice for ASMR. Unintentional ASMR, but I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes when we record videos and I have to hear playbacks of my voice, I'm like, oh, this again? And then I pretend I don't hear it. But it's good to hear. They are the best bros. Indeed, that's why. Okay, so at this stage, let me start adding in details that will make this blob of a man look like Levi. Because it's about time. So let's see. My voice cracks every time you do a recording. Yeah. How could I not like it? Well, I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, I feel Jessie when I record, and then I can't get a recording in one take. It only goes downhill from there. Let's see, his face. So I think I put his eyeline a little too high because he's kind of tilting his head a bit, so I'm just gonna move it down because that is the power of digital art. So I think my goal for today is I'm gonna try and get characters done and then the drawing, and then we'll go over how to draw some clothing folds, different outfits, and then how to shade them. So let's see. He has a really grumpy expression. So the thing is that usually when I sketch characters, I tend to sketch them first and then I clean them up again. So my sketching stage tends to be very, how should I put it? Basic? Sure. Yes, folds. And some tips on how to draw them, like from imagination, how to make them look believable. So you can have his high-lidded bored look. But yeah, feel free to keep requesting different characters. Because, so far, I'm working on Levi. I will try my best to work on Sakusa. I think his hair would be fun to draw. Let's see, his eyebrows. He is not pleased to be there. I'd like to think that whoever mentioned, I think it was Gio, that he was dragged to go to the cat cafe, but once they're there, he's like, ah, I like cats. So that's how I imagine it would be. Dio, maybe? It's funny, one of my friends also suggested a JoJo character. I believe that's from JoJo. So his nose. His curls. Ah. If you have some trouble drawing different hairstyles, we do have some tutorials on drawing hair. Um, I don't think I go over how to draw like curly or wavy hair in our male hairstyles video, but I do go over it with our female one. And the idea is pretty much the same. Oh, right. MediBang has a lasso tool. Sorry, that was really vague. So for anyone that doesn't know, I usually use Clip Studio Paint, and the shortcut for the lasso tool is actually M in Clip Studio. So I was hitting M and I was like, huh, why am I getting something else? But yeah, if I draw Sakusa, I will go over his hair a little bit. And then here. So again, just a reminder, if you watched Jessie's stream last week, she does line art. I'm not that speedy with line art anymore, so I can't do that. So I tend to just clean up my sketch. So even here I'm kind of just cleaning my sketch on a layer that's on top. Oh, you had to change it to L. You mean the shortcut in Clip Studio? Yeah. See, I could have done that too, but I conformed. That's the small issue with using many digital art programs. Sometimes, while they have many things in common, they might have one thing where they try to be unique in. And then as someone who uses multiple programs, you're like, why are you trying to be unique? Just keep it the same. Make it simple for us. I'm just gonna move his eye a little closer. It looks like he's looking at the friend who invited them, who invited him, and it's like, why? Line artists, let's go. Yeah. I didn't mean to pause there either, but yeah. There are times when I like line art, but I always feel like I'm so stressed out when I do line art. Oh yes, and I'm adding a tiny bit of eyelashes. Just a little bit. So I can't stand Krita. Interestingly enough, I've never used Krita before. So I don't know what that's like. I've used Photoshop, Painttool Sai, and Clip Studio Paint. Oh, I guess MediBang too. I say as I'm using it. So I can draw in his frown. I keep hitting M. Hi Emma, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Today's theme is anime fashion design, as I have written up here. I have it written this time because MediBang's text tool isn't so great. So that's my handwriting. So just to catch up anyone who's tuning in, I am drawing Levi from Attack on Titan, and he is going to a cat cafe, begrudgingly, but secretly enjoying it. So let's see his hair. Before I do his hair, I'm going to fix his ear a little bit, because in my sketch I just drew in a shape. And then I drew it quite high up so I can adjust that. And erase the sketch behind. Again, my sketching stage is pretty much like this. A lot of moving things around. You love it. I'm glad to hear that. Hi, Icy. Welcome. You're always catching the stream. Nice to see. Welcome, welcome. So today's theme is anime fashion design. Oh, right. So if you have a favorite anime character, well, I guess it doesn't have to be an anime character specifically. Feel free to let me try that again. Feel free to suggest them, and as well as what kind of fashion you'd like them to see. So something that they don't usually wear. Like you can see in my thumbnail, I did the I drew the Mia twins, and I drew them as, in my head, they were supposed to be like these cyborg foxes, but I didn't draw on their tails yet. And if you have a specific request like, oh, can you draw so-and-so in a hat or in glasses, then I will draw like only their portrait versus drawing their full body. So for like Levi, I think I'll only do his half body, so up to his waist. Okay, so I have in his face. I think that looks like his face. His face in my style, so let me drop the eyelids a little bit more so he looks even more unimpressed. And then his hair, so his hair's pretty iconic actually. I would think so. Oh, so actually, it might be a good idea if I write who I am drawing. So let me write Levi. Oops. There I go, hitting M again. Oh. The transform shortcuts are set to free transform and perspective, so that's why it's getting warped. So I just start with a hairline, and then I can draw his middle part. And for any digital artists who are curious, I'm simply using the pencil tool. I don't think I use anything other than that, unless if I'm painting. I'm gonna try and draw on his hair quickly, his fringe. Fringe or bangs, whichever one you call it. I think fringe sounds nicer, so I tend to say that more. And I'm looking at his reference on my other screen for anyone who is curious, so I'm kind of pausing in between to take a look at it. And again, I'll be sketching, and then once I have several characters, I will go back and, or maybe I'll just shade it all in one go. We'll see. I'm still not sure how I feel about about this drawing of Levi so far. It's alright. I mean, it looks like him. Those hair's looking really flat at the back here. I know this is a fashion theme today, but it's helpful to go over how to draw different things. And of course, if you have any art-related questions or tips that you think I won't be going over, that you want me to go over, feel free to ask and I will be happy to help. Help as best as I can. You want to see Dio in a dress? All of the requests are guys in dresses, which is I see. I kind of expected that. I was kind of prepared for this. So I'm just erasing some lines here and there, and then there's Levi. His face, at least. He kind of has a more, I don't want to say older, but like structured face. So just a little bit of a line to suggest, MediBang, why? I have to go to the soft eraser. Maybe show my brush settings. Oh, okay, so this is a fun one because all of my brushes are always set to defaults. So if you're curious, all of my brush settings, I believe, that I'm using can be seen here. And then if you mean specific brush settings like, oops, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to pop up my window. If you mean the specific settings, I don't have any other than I usually work in a lower opacity. So here, the opacity slider. But yeah, I'm one of those artists who works in default brushes. Mostly because I don't find using custom brushes very important unless you're using it for a specific reason, because usually the default brushes will get the job done. And then if it isn't broken, there's no reason to fix it, right? But again, it's all about preference. If you want custom brushes, get custom brushes. Play around with different brushes, but if default works, then there you go. But I find in Photoshop, if I ever use Photoshop, I have more custom brushes there. More custom brushes meaning I only use one custom brush. I don't use the hard round brush. Okay, so for Levi's outfit, were we doing the panda hoodie or the maid outfit, or is the maid outfit for Sakusa? They're all blending in together. Let me see. I'm just scrolling up in the chat. A jumper with a panda design. I like the idea of him wearing some kind of jumper. I'm thinking of they're called kigurumis. Kigurumis, where it's a big animal onesie. Oh dear. How about the panda hoodie and then I can give him like a cat headband? So if anyone has any more concrete suggestions for his top, let me know, but I am giving him a cat headband right now. You really want a kigurumi? Then go for it. I don't think I could handle owning one, so that's just me. But I think they're cute. Can you make a video about how to have good resolution for designs? So I didn't mean to pause there. Generally, when you're drawing, my default when I'm drawing, so this isn't a concrete answer, like it's not the be all end all, but whenever I work in a new file, I tend to work in like a minimum of 3000 by 3000 if that was a square or something along those lines. It also heavily depends on what your computer can handle. If you're printing an image, you want it to be at least 300 dpi. If you're working on the computer or just sharing your work online, it doesn't need to be 300 dpi, but ideally you want to be able to zoom in and it won't be super pixelated. If Jesse, if you have anything to add, feel free to. But from my understanding, that's my understanding. But yeah, when I usually work in programs, I work in pixels, and then it's usually around the 3000 by 2000 or 3000 by 4000 range. If I really need to add details, or I'm doing something like a character sheet where I need multiple drawings and a large amount of space, I might even go to 5000 by 6000. But again, it also depends on the program you're using and what your computer can handle. I hope that answers your question. If you have any additional questions, let me know, and I'll try my best. Try my best to answer. But yeah, that is definitely a topic, because when I first started digital art, I opened up Photoshop. That was my first program, and then I made a 300 by 300 pixel file, and I worked on it. For anyone who doesn't know, that is tiny. 300 by 300 is tiny to work on. Am I using a screen tablet? Yes. Yes, I am. 3K is big. It's true. It is. Again, it goes back to what your computer can handle too. So I suggest if your computer is like kind of sputtering and it has a loading screen when you save on a 1K or 2K file, it might not be the best idea to go bigger than that, because you also want to reduce the chances of your program crashing on you. Right, so hoodie. Sorry for pausing. Let me speed up a bit. So for hoodie specifically, I like to start with the hood. And I can draw them as cylinder shapes. Or like, you can think of these as two cylinders if you want to overcomplicate it. And just a little lump to show the clothing fold. And any other folds here. And then here I can block out the seam, the sewing seam of the hoodie. And then depending on the type of material that that the clothing is, it might have more clothing folds or less clothing folds. If it's thinner material, it will have more. If it's thicker material, it'll have less. Thin meaning like linen, cotton, silk, and thicker meaning like, I think of wool jackets or leather, and so on. Will this stream be available later? Yeah. So right after the stream ends, the playback will be uploaded. So you'll get to see Cat Levi. Let me just check the time. Wow. Okay. I really gotta speed this up a bit. So let me draw in the rest of his hoodie. And then I'm just following that basic shape of the arm. I find that his arm is a little too far, so I can simply adjust that. No problem. If it's super late where you are, it might be a good idea to go to bed. We had one viewer who would always join the stream, but then she would always say, "Hey guys, it's almost 1 a.m. here." So I'm just going to erase the lines that I have underneath those guidelines that I don't really need anymore. And then I'm slowly being left with his clean drawing. And I can have his yeah, it's no problem. But we're glad that you're here, so welcome. Sorry, I didn't mean to say welcome. I meant to say thank you for tuning in. All of my thoughts are getting jumbled up together. So I could have just one thumb. And then his just a simple shape because I know this is gonna drive me nuts. Me who's always up at 3 a.m. Yeah, me too. For no good reason, honestly. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a couple of pulling folds around his wrists. So a fabric that a hoodie has, I'm thinking of a thicker fabric. So there wouldn't be that many clothing folds other than like in areas that bend a lot or that drapes on the character's body. So I might add a little pattern here so it can be like a cat hoodie. Let me try that again. There we go. Is there any video on how to draw hands? We do have a video on how to draw hands, actually. So feel free to check that out. But maybe, I believe in the past it was suggested if we could have a stream all about drawing hands. Okay, so I'm gonna draw in this other hand. But yeah, if you search up on our channel, I believe it's called How to Draw Anime Hands. I was like really hesitant thinking of the title. Yeah, I believe it's called that. Or even if you search up how to draw hands on our channel. And then I'm just imagining he's holding the cat like that. No problem. Yeah, I believe that tutorial is by Rachel. We have a blog that summarizes it. Sure, blogs work too. So we have a video and a blog. It's kind of funny now that I think about it. Whenever I say I'm gonna speed up, and then my speed is the same, so I apologize for that. But we are getting there. I have him in his cat hoodie. His waist is still just looking like his body, so I'm going to extend it and make it look like baggy fabric and the elastic. Sure. We'll see you later, Pardeep. We'll be here until 2 o'clock, so there is time. Is there any link for the blog? I'm not sure if we have it in the description, like the specific link. We do have links to our website in the description that you can check out. I can't remember from the top of my head where it's located exactly, like under which tab, but I'm pretty sure Jesse would know. Because I'm just thinking that we have like a resources tab, events tab on our website. And I can't remember which one has what. From the top of my head, at least. Okay. Lastly, the cat. Which is kind of funny because this is about fashion and here I am drawing a cat. I'm just gonna draw a simple cat, kind of chibi, I guess you can say. Florent, hi, welcome. Welcome to the stream. We're drawing anime fashion design today. If you have any favorite characters you want to request, let me know. Let me know the character and what you'd like them to wear. And then I will try my best to draw them. Do we have videos on bodies and using reference? Yeah, as Jesse said, we have videos on drawing bodies that you can search up. Or, but not on references specifically. Yep, we have one on dynamic poses and realistic proportions, as Jesse is mentioning. There is the cat's face. They are the same. Cats don't have eyebrows, but I think it would be funny. Can you give the cat's eyes like Levi? Yeah, exactly. That's what I was doing. I know there might be a little bit of lag in the stream, but I am doing that. No worries. Again, cats don't really have eyebrows. They have like the whiskers, but I think it's funny if he if it has eyebrows. And then I can have the tail. Maybe it's like one of those fluffy cats. So like a fluffy tail. And then I can erase any overlapping lines. And then I just want to erase some parts of my sketch that is a little too messy. That is one chunky arm, so I can adjust that. There we go. Oops. Oops. You're gonna hear a lot of that when I work in MediBang. So I can call this layer Levi and then fill it in with black. Black or a dark brown. So I'm just cleaning it up a little bit. And then from here, I can color it in. So I did say that I'm gonna sketch and then color, but I think it makes more sense to sketch it, color it, and then move on to the next character. And I'll do that by making a selection, doing an inverse. Oh, I always forget reference should be set to layer. That's one thing I'm not a huge fan of in MediBang. So for the base color, I don't have his reference in here, so I'm just going to guess his skin tone. Who here is watching Attack on Titan Season 4? Yes, if you guys are watching, you can discuss with Joshua. Personally, I'm not. I kind of stopped keeping up with Attack on Titan for several several years. But yeah, you can discuss. Of course, be mindful of spoilers for others. Not me. I don't really care because I don't think I'm gonna watch it anytime soon. But yeah, for others. Okay. So next, his hair. I'm just doing some quick selections and then filling it in. This is just a quick way to get color in. And I'm just going to outline the cat. So the cat should be I think it should be a black cat. I was thinking of either a white cat or a black cat because I think it would be funny if it sheds fur onto Levi's clothes and then it's super noticeable. Never watch animes. Well, it I think it depends, Icy. Like, first of all, do you have a favorite genre instead of just giving anime recommendations that are like just based off of what I like personally or what someone else likes personally? Do you have a genre that you like? I gave this cat yellow eyes and now it's Kuro. So I'm just going to I guess it would be fun if the hoodie was like red. The cat looks so cute. Thank you. The cat doesn't want to be here. I'm just doing a overall outline of his hoodie. Make a selection and then fill it in. Ooh, that's really pink. I want it to be a bit more on the red side. I'm gonna make this cat white. This cat logo. But if you like more lighthearted anime, I just remembered I really liked watching I'm totally gonna butcher the name. I can't remember the entire title, but the main character's name is Nozaki, and it's about this guy who writes for a weekly shoujo manga. And I remember really liking it when I was younger, and it's pretty funny. Okay. Hmm. I don't want to take forever, so I'm just going to draw in the whites of his eyes, and um, I can't remember what color his eyes are actually. Yellow? They seem like they're yellow. Or a more muted yellow, or brown. So it's kind of like they are twins. There we go. So I'm gonna make a folder and put Levi in there. And then what I can do is create a clipping mask. I'm just gonna read the comments. Bakuman is also good. Yeah, I really liked Bakuman too. It's also riding on that whole theme of like the behind the scenes of making manga. Although even though Nozaki is making manga, it's kind of more like a slice of life comedy, while Bakuman is more, um, dare I say, realistic. I'm just reading the comments. Arunia, I love this color combo. Thank you. I'm trying to go faster. I'm feeling the pressure. Let's see. Interesting. So you, okay. Well, that's inconvenient, but you can't clip a multiply layer to a folder. You can, however, merge the folder and then multiply it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Love the cat's expression. Thank you, and welcome. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, I just read the comment, Bakuman. Bakuman and Nozaki are two different things, but I'm gonna butcher the name, but the Japanese name is Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-kun, where, yeah, it's more of a comedy. Like, Bakuman does have funny parts in it too, but it's more like slice of life. More, I don't know how to put it. I think Nozaki is more silly. And then you may have seen that, what do you call it? The redhead boy, his name is... I can't remember what his name is, but I've seen his pictures like surfacing on social media here and there. Nozaki is a really bored looking guy, so he kind of looks like he kind of reminds me of Ushijima from Haikyuu. I don't think Yeri is here today, but her favorite character, Ushijima. Right, so for shading, all I'm doing here is figuring out my light source first. So I'm imagining from here, the top right. So that means, very simply, I can focus all of my shadows on this side, the side of the body, versus putting shadows just anywhere and everywhere. So since the light is coming from down here, or up top here, I can have a shadow from his head casted here. And I am working on a multiply layer. It's my favorite way to shade something really quickly and simply. Man, I'll never get used to MediBang's erasers, but Slice of Life guy? I don't know who that is. Oh, no. I don't know who that is. I just googled him and I'm like, I see what you mean about his design. No, if you search up Nozaki, it's such a funny anime. Funny manga. Do you also put highlights on? Yes, I do. I usually put highlights on after, and then the way that I like to work personally is adding shadows and highlights and then placing them down, kind of like, think of cell shading or hard shading. So no blending. I just like to place the highlights and the shadows first, and then I can blend them out because I like painting. I like digital painting. Oh, they kind of look like double ears now that I think about it. Oh well. It's fun. It's fun that way. So here I can block out some shadows, again focusing on the left side since the light is coming from the right. And another really helpful thing is to think of 3D forms. So if this arm is a cylinder and the light is coming from the top here, there would be some light on the top side. And I'm just trying to shade him in really quickly. I won't be blending blending so much. Have you tried putting on a hard light layer? I do sometimes. I like to play around with my layers. Usually I tend to use I either draw in the highlight on a normal layer actually and just use a lighter, usually a really light yellow or a really light cyan, depending on the lighting situation. Here I'm kind of just drawing for fun, so I'm just focusing on the basic shapes, but I also like overlay and luminosity. I can't think of what other layer effects are pretty good. Soft light is pretty helpful, and yeah, it usually depends on the situation. For the shadows, am I just going in with a slightly darker version of the same color? Or a layer effect. So I am using a layer effect. I'm actually using, so if I turn this to normal, it's like this very pale, desaturated violet. So my color here. This is what it looks like on a normal layer, but then when I change it to multiply, it multiplies. I always have trouble explaining what multiply does, but basically whatever is underneath the multiply layer will appear darker. Will appear darker based on whatever color is underneath. And I hope that explanation helps. I always struggle explaining what does multiply do specifically. Because I can't just say, well, it multiplies. It multiplies your colors. Because that's a little vague. Okay. Okay, we are almost there. MediBang doesn't have a blur, does it? Or blend? So I was just going to blend out this edge a little bit, but I can use the eraser, that's fine. I want to give the cat a little bit of an intense shadow on the face. And there we go. There's Levi. I use screen for highlights and glows if I want to go more intense. True. True. There we go. Oh, actually, yeah, speaking of highlights before I finish this off, let me add a couple of highlights. So I like to approach my highlights pretty much the same way that I do with shadows. I make selections and I fill them in. So here I can go with a light yellow. For hair specifically, I like to go to filter, blur. Sorry, Gaussian blur. I forget they only have one blur. And then I can set it to 2 or 1. 2 is usually better. Hit OK, and then drop my opacity. And then that is a quick way for me to add hair highlights. Very cool. Nice. Yeah. And definitely, working with simpler shapes will make it a lot easier. I find that it's nice to go through all of the layer effects to see what each one does. Some you may never use, some you might figure out, huh, that's pretty cool. So here I could actually add some more in-depth shadows, but I'll leave it. I'll leave it for simplicity's sake. Because so far, we only have one character and I should really move on. I'm just gonna add a little bit of highlights for his eyes because the thing with characters, if they don't have highlights, they tend to look really dead, which, to be fair, he is a pretty dead-looking character, but in terms of art, we want it to look a little more lively. We can't see any of the menus. Yeah, I know. Just because I'm only sharing my MediBang screen. But yeah. If you want any more in-depth tips and tricks, wow, I had trouble saying that. If you join our Discord channel, we could have more in-depth explanations that can't exactly be shown on stream all the time. But yeah. It's in this blending. Oh, sorry, you're talking about the filter. Yeah, the Gaussian blur. Sorry if you can't see that. The main reason why I don't share my entire display is because if I accidentally click something, it's gonna ruin the stream. So I better just stay safe. Accidentally click something, meaning I tend to minimize my windows a lot by accident for whatever reason. So let's see, what else? I think Levi's done. Let's move on. Finally. And of course, since we're at the halfway point, if you haven't yet, feel free to like and subscribe for more videos and more streams. And yeah. Nice. So next, I believe we're doing Sakusa from Haikyuu. Let me search him up. Sakusa, Haikyuu. I'm nervous. I've never drawn him before. I've tried OBS and failed miserably. Ah, I see. Yeah. Sakusa in a maid outfit. Everyone is getting requested to be put in a maid outfit. Maybe I can draw him with one of those dusters and his mask. So I'll start with a sketch. And then I think it would be fun if he has like some kind of intimidating like angle to his head. Oh, actually, we wouldn't even see his nose if he's wearing a mask. So I can draw that in. And I like his eyebrow expression, where he's always like looking menacingly. Wish MediBang had some more like features. Sakusa if he was taking an art class. I'm imagining him holding like a duster in one hand and then like, because I was thinking of Jesse's Windex bottle from last week. Hi Duncan, welcome. If you have any anime characters you'd like to request, let me know. So far I am being bombarded with can you draw so-and-so in a maid outfit? I'm trying to envision what would his with paint everywhere. Ah, I see. That was fun. That's a fun idea if he's taking an art class. I can't remember who suggested um oh, M. M was the one who suggested his maid outfit. I might only do a waist up again. A blushing expression? Wow. We'll see what happens. He is wearing a mask because I'd like to think if he is cleaning, he would do that. I'm still having some trouble picturing. Oops. Let me draw in the rest of the body. So maybe he can have one shoulder up holding the Windex bottle. Now I gotta search up a Windex bottle. I see. I say I see, but I don't really know what I'm what I'm looking at. I'm looking for one that's showing showing what it looks like from the front. Artist Sakusa? Now I'm torn. Let's see. He could be holding a paintbrush, that's true. That's true. Holding a palette in one and then a paintbrush in the other. Wait, is Sakusa left-handed? I can't remember. I can't remember if he's left-handed. Anyway, I don't think that's okay, well no, that's just Ushijima. I'm getting my Haikyuu facts mixed up, guys. Ah, Sakusa's the one with the bendy wrists. He's kind of in like a Bob Ross pose. Palette in one hand. And his one hand can be holding the paintbrush. I'm sorry we're not going with the maid idea, but it started. I do want to keep this a little more art related, that's why I'm kind of going with Gio's idea. But we are getting Sakusa, so it's not a total loss situation. You love that grumpy man. Nice. Do you read the manga too? Or is it just the anime? So here I'm just using mesh transform to make some finer edits. No problem, this sounds better. I'm sure there's already art of him as a maid too, so I don't think you'd have to look that far. So I can close my Windex bottle reference and just see how he looks. Yes, you do read. Nice. So I'm just looking at a... I'll clean this up a bit later. Yeah, Haikyuu's finished, unfortunately. I think there has been some little extras that the author was creating, but I haven't looked at them yet. Because I saw a couple of extra side stories. Well, I don't know if they were side stories, but I did see some pictures of like Kuro and stuff, and since he's my favorite character, I'm like, oh, I've never seen this before. Interesting. I've still yet to see it, so just sketching in the idea. So I'm only going to draw up to his waist again. Oh yes, if you have any other characters you'd like to see, maybe in like a specific hat or or something else. Just because I think in terms of time, it'll take me way too long to draw another half body, full body. There's even an illustration book. Yes. I own that book. The the art book called Endings and Beginnings. It's a really big book. And it's really beautiful. I also have the older art book that's only the size of a manga. A lot of what's in the new art book is like reprinted and larger resolution of what's in the older art book. But the old art book is so hard to look and appreciate the art just because it's so tiny. But it does come with stickers, so I love my art style. Thank you. Even though it's really obscure at this stage. I'm just focusing on getting the body down. We will have a future stream where I'll be drawing a screen cap in my style, so that will be focusing more on my style. Yeah. Well, here it's my just my sketching sketching stage. We love this channel and we're all an inspiration. Thank you. That means a lot to us. If you also have any suggestions of like what you'd like to see for a future stream or something, feel free to let us know. So I'm just gonna draw on his other arm here, holding the palette. I know M wanted to see his hair, and it's taking me ages to get to his hair because I'm still blocking in his body. I'm the kind of person who needs to see the entire picture first, and then I can move on to details. Well, I guess it depends on the situation, because sometimes I do just jump into drawing details, but in cases like these, I'd like to get the whole body down first. Sure, that's fine. And then I can have his palette. So his thumb. And then I have a palette. Let me look at it. It's like under my desk. Oh, my headphones just broke. Okay. How does a palette look? Ah, okay. This is a little weird. Mine is, I would hold it with my left hand, but I drew him holding it with his right hand. Let's just have a basic shape and not overthink this. So oh, my color suddenly turned to black. I don't know what happened. Okay, I guess I accidentally color picked that. Really like the process of turning real people into manga style. Definitely. Thank you for the suggestion. I think we've in like previous streams and then also within our staff, we've discussed turning several real people into manga style characters. Take my sonic speed powers. I wish. I wish. I don't know. I used to be really fast at drawing, like drawing digitally, but over time, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I got slower. There is his palette. I used to be Sanic too. Sanic no longer, but I used to be. So his hair. So I'm gonna take a look at his hairstyle. So I would start with the hairline. Oh yeah, that's true. We also have our artist history videos where Rachel turns them into anime characters, turn more traditional and historical artists into anime characters. Yes. But I also think they also want to see like doing it in real time, I suppose. So I just drew in the hairline for Sakusa, and then I'm going to start with his part. Let me use red, just so it's easier to see. And then I would start with a basic wave shape. And then kind of draw it in sections. And the other side of his hair. And then I can draw the rest of his hair at the back. I do a lot of these like squiggly lines when I'm doing like wavy hair. And the other side of his hair. I've also, again, I've never drawn him before, so I'm sorry if I'm also butchering his design. Oops, I accidentally got rid of his hair. I drew in that, and then I'm trying to remember. So the wing canvas aprons, what do they look like? I can't remember. Let me just start with a basic apron shape. Apron or smock. I guess let's also draw in his, draw in a line for a shirt. You love his hair. I'm glad to hear that. Because part of me is a little unsure. Because again, I've never drawn him before. But I'm happy to hear that. Like, even with Kuro, he's been my favorite character for a really long time, but his hair drives me nuts because I don't know how to draw it. Well, I know how to draw it technically, but it's the act of drawing it that's like, ooh, it's so frustrating. And then his moles or beauty marks. And then I can erase any lines underneath. His t-shirt, I'm just gonna draw the seam of the t-shirt. And I am following the... Is this guy from Haikyuu? Yeah. He's a Haikyuu character. If you mean the character that I'm drawing right now. His name is Sakusa. Ooh, I forgot to write his name. Sakusa. Haikyuu. Because I need to label who is who. I'm gonna try to keep it fairly simple so I can try and squeeze in one more. We'll see. I really want more than 2 characters. Because in the previous stream I was only able to draw like 2 full body characters and I just thought, oh, that's not enough. I need at least 3. Oops. You can wear a apron. And then the type of material an apron is usually like, depending on what it is, it's kind of like a canvasy type of material, so there's a lot of like geometric folds and stuff. So I'm just gonna erase other lines that are underneath. And then I'm going to keep his hands fairly simple. Like just the very basic shape, just to save time. And then there we go. I feel like his head can be smaller or his body can be bigger. The proportion isn't, it's a little off to me. Okay. And then he could have like paint on his smock. I believe there's like a pocket here. You could have paint on his hands too. I think it's funny to think that maybe he's a really messy painter. Despite how clean he is. And then here I'm just going to change my line color to black or dark brown. And then I'm just cleaning up the lines a bit, or the sketch a bit, by erasing here and there. Now I'm finally zooming in to see if I can add any more details to his face. I think it's really funny if he has that disgusted look on his face. And his eyebrows are knitted together. Okay. So that's what we have so far. I'm gonna go ahead and color him in. Oops. Why is the magic wand doing this to me? Let me figure this out. I see, okay. Still, why? I'm just complaining about MediBang. Okay, his skin tone. I can color pick Levi to save some time and then change it a bit. And then I'm just gonna fill in everything. just so I have a base to start with. And then I can go in and then color his hair. You too, Jesse. Yeah. MediBang is great, but it's just we're so used to using other programs. So it's not that we don't know how to use it, it's just switching back and forth is the issue here. His hair is also pretty similar to Levi's. How to select a base color. So, you could color pick a reference. The only reason why I'm not doing it is just to avoid having too many images up during the stream. So I am simply relying on my eyes, which can be good. At the same time, it also depends on how good the colors on your monitor are if you're working digitally. So the colors on my monitor actually aren't that great. But yeah, again, I just don't want to have too many outside images in the stream other than my own art. Oops. But yeah, there are many ways to select a base color. I tend to start with the skin tone. So it's whatever the character's skin tone is. And then after I have the color over everything, I simply make clipping layers on top of that clip onto that base layer. So that way when I color, it doesn't go outside of the lines. So his shirt is yellow. Whoa, that's a really bright yellow. So I'm just outlining the shirt here. Magic wand, insert. And that's how I get my base colors down. For thin areas here, I don't really have to do that, I can just fill them in. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. If you need more clarification, just let me know and I will try to answer. So for the apron, I will make it red. Wing canvas apron. Would Sakusa be a good art student? Or would he be a good art teacher? I'm curious. Oh, okay. You usually see people going with lighter colors. Yeah, it also depends on the artist. Like sometimes people have a specific aesthetic that they want or a specific style, or sometimes they use different color palettes that aren't exactly the same as the reference if you're doing fan art or drawing an existing character. If you're drawing completely original art, you definitely have more freedom. But when it comes to drawing a existing character, usually what I do is if I have their reference and I'm drawing them for the first time ever, with the exception of Sakusa here, I would pop their reference image in and then color pick. And then if I want to adjust the colors from there, I can do that. He would be both a good student and a teacher. If someone asked me like, would Kuro be a good art student or teacher, I would be like, ha, no. I'm just kidding. Tend to choose whatever color is going to be the most apparent. Yeah. It tends to be the skin tone, but yeah, it also depends. I'm trying to think of a character that doesn't really have the skin tone apparent. I think Genos from One Punch Man is a pretty good example because he only has his skin tone showing like on his face. And then the rest of his body is like either his clothing, which is usually like a gray or a black or whatever, or metal colors. No need for clipping. Yeah, you can use Jesse's method too. I tend to use clipping layers because that's my preference. Clipping layers and yeah, I also clip my shadows, but I merge everything first and then I do my shadows. 3 to 4 layers max. You know what's funny? Actually, before this, I used to use way more layers. Like when I first started digital art, I would have way more layers than what I'm using right now. Because the only reason why I tend to use quite a lot of layers here, so it's usually when I use different colors. But it's just because I have been ingrained with the idea that I need to be as non-destructive when I'm working digitally as possible. I'm just using random colors of the rainbow, sorry. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Um, I used to use let me try to think. I used to use like these layers and then think of double. Double because I would clip a separate shadow layer to each color layer that I had. And I would have a different color, a different layer for each color. And then I would clip a separate shadow for each one. So it was a lot. Like looking back, it was definitely way too much. So now I I only have separate colors, and then sometimes I'll have less than this. That's so much file space. Yeah, I I don't think this is bragging, but my computer can handle it. Because my computer is also built for 3D programs and 3D rendering. So yeah, fun times. But it's definitely not necessary. So there we go. There's Sakusa. So now I'm going to put him in a folder. So as I'm putting him in a folder and doing some quick shading on him, if anyone can give a suggestion for a simple portrait of a character, like maybe they're wearing a hat or one of those cute hats that you can squeeze and then the ears go up and down. I've seen those a lot. I can do a quick drawing like that. It's just because I know I won't be able to do another half body, full body drawing. Yeah. And actually, the way that I shade, okay, so the light source will be from here. So I'll focus shadows on this side, on the right side. Yeah, and as I was saying, my method for adding shadows is actually a little different because what I do when I work on my personal art is I'll fill the entire layer with shadow like this, and then I erase where light hits the image rather than putting in shadows. I can do both. That's why I'm doing it this way right now, but that's my other method. My choice of character, but in a frog hat. Ooh, I don't know what character I want to do if it's me. Jesse, what character do you want to see? You haven't requested anyone yet. Or did you? And did I completely miss it? If I did, sorry about that. Is there a specific frog hat? I feel like that sounds something that would be very specific. Or like a very specific meme. No, you didn't. Okay, so request somebody. Because I always end up drawing the same characters and I'd like to have a variety. If it's a character of my choice, I'm gonna end up drawing like Kuro, Bokuto, Leon, or Raihan. It's always a cycle of those 4 characters. Frog Winter Hat. Gon or Gon? Gon? I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Gon from Hunter x Hunter. I see. Wouldn't the hat cover his hair? True. It can cover up his impossible hair. That's exactly what I was thinking. His hair reminds me of my favorite character from Slam Dunk. Sendo Akira. I got it the first time. Okay. So it's Gon. Gone. No, wait, I lost it. I don't remember what I said first. Gone. I'm gonna think it's gone. Gone. Okay, okay, okay. No, wait. I'm getting different answers. Gone? 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 I'm gonna wait and let you guys discuss. Because I really don't know. As if there's an A. Gone. Okay. Got it. Thank you for letting me know. I struggled a lot there. So here I'm just adding shadows on this side and any areas where there would be a certain obvious form showing. Like here, his chest is out, so there's some shadow going down here. And then there he is. I actually forgot to change his line art to multiply, so it looks a little light and blended into the color, but that's okay. There he is, ready to do some aggressive painting. Okay, frog hat. Let me search him up. He wears a lot of green, so it fits. It fits that he has a frog hat, so... Gon Froggy Hat. I see. Well, I see the meme frog, but I also see some ones that are actually cute. Okay, so let's do a quick one of him. I'm just gonna have his head up, and then he can kind of... I see him sticking his tongue out at one. So let's see, froggy hat, let me just sketch that out. I don't think I even need to draw his hair for this one. Like, it wouldn't show. But then if his hair's pretty iconic, how can you tell it's him? Well, I guess I will try my best. This froggy hat with the Velcro. I'm gonna see how much I can get done. It kind of looks like a bear hat right now. Also put the collar of his jacket. True, true. I feel like I'm making this look terrifying. Let me give it the cuter eyes, because I see one with dot eyes and then one with like these highlights. There we go. So the collar of his jacket. Just adding in. Oh, I was wondering why my lines were so squiggly. It's because my stabilization is off. I'm gonna make the back of the hat a little wider. Just because it looks a little too flat. Those eyes look really nice. Thank you. You mean the frog eyes? Because that's the only eyes on the page right now. His sideburns. Let me draw on his eyes first. He has no eyebrows. His eyebrows also seem like they're a part of his character. Oops, right. MediBang doesn't do that. Cute. Thank you. I don't like how that looks, so let me try again. Let's just scrap the whole eye. I'm trying to hold back from making him wink. You know when you can't draw the other eye that well, you make them wink. That's fine. Okay. No more noodling. And I'll add just a little bit of his hairline. Can't really see it, but we know it's him. Or we know it's him because I say it's him. Okay. Let's add some quick colors and then we'll call it here. I'm just gonna color pick from the other guys and make his skin tone a little bit more peach and a little lighter. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my selection tool, so I'm just drawing an outline of the drawing and then filling it in. I also just remembered that I forgot to change my line art color, so I'm gonna do that here. Create a new layer and then make everything green because his outfit is green. And then his hat is green as well. My goodness, he's so green. After I filled that in, I was like, whoa, that's a lot of green. And his collar. I don't mind coloring outside of the lines a little bit. I didn't hit clip yet. There we go. And then I can add in his hair, which is a really dark green, it seems. Add in a bit of his hairline. And then his eyes are orange, so you can color pick that orange. Ooh, or make the whites of his eyes white first. And then just a little bit of pink for his tongue. There is your froggy child, Jesse. And then I'm just gonna quickly put him in a folder, do some simple shading, and then that will be it. So the light source I will have from here. Of course. I like taking requests better than drawing characters that I want to draw. Because I don't think anyone wants to see characters that I want to draw. So. Oops, so I just need to make sure my selection is nice. Shade a little bit of the frog hats. And then there he is. Let me write his name. That is why. Again, I am messing up. G-O-N. Hunter, Hunter. Okay. There we go. So, yeah. That is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to connect with us in social media. You can always say hi to us on Discord, Instagram, etc. And as well as like and subscribe. And we will see you all next week. Next week is Jesse again. So Jesse will be doing a modern twist on video game characters. And then I will be back the week after. So again, thank you all for joining me today, joining us today, and we will see you all next time. Bye!